Next, 1 in 4 Brits say that they've had to take paid time off or holiday to deal with the stress of their job. 15% have even taken unpaid leave. Now, for those stressed out staff, long working hours proved to be the common concern. Pressure to meet deadlines was a worry for around a third of people who were polled. Low pay, a source of frustration for many others. Pam, this is very much in your ballpark, sort of thing you talk about. Let's talk a little bit about who the onus is on, the employer or the employee, and also how, as an employee or a worker, you can reduce your levels of stress in the workplace.
Well, you talk to me first, and I'll come into the workplace and I'll sort them out. Yeah. So it's twofold, as it often is. So the workplace themselves need to embed the health and safety executive guidelines for managing stress in the workplace and do that properly. And in terms of health and safety legislation, there's an onus on the employer to keep people safe. And it's not just about working from heights and poisonous substances. It is about stress as well. That's in the legislation.
Never more relevant than at the moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's also in the legislation that people have a responsibility to say when they feel unsafe in the workplace and report that to their employers. So, you know, going off sick with stress or taking holiday with stress and not talking to the employer about that's actually a problem in itself. So it's got to be, you know, I used to go into organisations and help individuals to deal with stress better. And what I do now is I say, look, that's great, but let's also look at the way the organisation puts pressure on people. Yeah. Let's look at how you can arrange that better and pick up on stress earlier and deal with it properly.
But actually, sometimes, shouldn't you think, am I just in the wrong job?
Absolutely.
You can change your direction, can't you?
Yeah. And sometimes when I'm coaching people one-to-one, we'll be looking at how they can be less stressed in the workplace. Yeah. And with the right questions, you can uncover the fact that actually they're a square peg in a round hole. Somebody else would love that job. Yeah. They're really struggling to fit into it, and actually they're just going to be happier elsewhere. And then that's a win-win for everybody. Somebody else gets that job and is happy. The managers aren't trying to manage this person who's struggling. But sometimes it is about management and the organisation generally looking at what's happening, because there are so many places now with less budgets, less resources, less people doing the jobs, and so they're coping really with an impossible situation. So
just aside and finally from sorting out relationships between managers and the structures that are available, what can you do yourself in simple terms if a situation or your job or your position is stressing you out? What can you do off your own back?
Well, the very important thing is you just notice what's happening. You take account of any extra hours you feel like you've got to work, because that's going to be taking up your recuperation time. Yeah. And look out for the red flags. I have a little book on looking out for the red flags, Burnout Buster, which helps people to notice, but then do something about it. Don't just suffer in silence. It's the same as the mental health message. Talk to somebody about it and look at making a change before it gets too bad. All right. I think that's some pretty sage and comprehensive advice. You would want Pam, wouldn't you, if you'd got a problem at work? 1,000%. Everybody needs a Pam Burrows.